Hello and welcome to today's conversation on a business opportunity, coaching and coach training. First off, a look at the agenda for the discussion. We'll talk about employee engagement, productivity, then we'll talk coaching skills, coaching, coach training. And as I go through each of these 5 areas, there's going to be different statistics to share with you, give you some insight on the impact and the power of what we're talking about. And then, of course, we'll talk resources and move into an offline discussion. Starting with the topic of employee engagement. The definition or a working definition for our purposes, there's a lot of different definitions out there. Basically, it's the level of interest an employee has in the work that they're doing, in supporting their colleagues, their supervisors, and in organizational goals. Commonly, the biggest weakness is the connection with the supervisor. At the same time, it's their desire in everything they're doing and the level of that. In terms of developing employee engagement, I found a lot of different places that had insights on how to do this and what counts and what's important. This one really stood out to me, and it comes from gratifi.com. It's a blog, and they talked about the 5 C's. First off, care. When an employee knows that their supervisor cares, their people on their team care, etc., they're more engaged. Connection. They want to feel connected to the work they do, and that makes a difference. Having a coach is actually one of the things that supports employee engagement. Contribute. People want to know that what they're doing has value. They're contributing to something, making a difference. And then, of course, congratulate them for their effort, for what they do, for what they accomplish. And those 5 C's are huge in terms of supporting that level of engagement. Now, what's the reason companies care about employee engagement? Well, it goes to the statistics there. This one comes from Zip2, and they said 56% of companies who have implemented coaching reported an increase in employee engagement levels. And it went on to say that business coaching is most effective when delivered by external coaches. And 57.4% of the organizations surveyed said they were using external coaches. So that was a good indicator too, and fun for everybody who's a coach. Speaks to the opportunities, etc. Now let's move into actually more statistics, and these all come from this Zip2 blog. So they said that 87% of participants agreed that business coaching has a long-lasting impact on employee performance. 70% of coached employees report improved work performance. 80% of people who receive coaching also reported improved self-confidence. That's a big one. Companies that utilize coaches have productivity rates that are 88% higher than those that do not utilize coaches. And organizations that invest in coaching see a 60% improvement in relationships with clients. So powerful statistics, amazing the impact that employee engagement has. I'm going to shift now into also exploring productivity. So our working definition for productivity is right here. Basically looking at the input required to create the output being whatever product or service the company provides, and the input is all of the costs involved. Now, some of that is, if there's a facility or a building, some of it's going to be keeping the lights on and other materials, etc. And the biggest one for almost all businesses is going to be the people. So the individual productivity of everyone working there makes a difference. And exploring that. So I found this blog at Vengresso, and they said, okay, what do you do? What are the big concerns in terms of productivity? And they cited very specifically 4 of them. So, well, sorry, getting ahead of myself. So listed right there. You have time management, task prioritization, and frankly, when you hear just those, you're thinking, okay, yes, coaching. Of course, we talk to clients about time management and talk about task prioritization. Also, energy management, because we take that holistic approach, and motivation. What is their motivation? And we know to ask about that and supporting that motivation. So we actually have specific tools for that. In terms of the impact, here's a couple of numbers worth looking at. Only 26% of knowledge workers feel like they're operating at their full potential. Wow, not very many. Little more than a fourth of people. So what does that tell us? We have a lot of people not operating at potential, and that's got a bottom line impact. Then the next statistic, and I'm guessing people are going to be familiar with this. The average worker spends 3 hours and 43 minutes a day, nearly a half their day, on communicating, talking to people, responding to emails, going to meetings, et cetera, et cetera. It leaves them a little more than half their day to actually do work. That's worth noting. And companies are spending over $21 billion every single week on communication related activities, calls, emails, meetings, etc. Big note on that one. Here are some more statistics back to that Zip2 blog that we were talking about. 87% of participants, again, that long-term impact on employee performance. Okay. Business coaching has a long-term impact on their performance. 70% of the employees have improved work performance. 80% they improve self-confidence. Companies utilizing coaching have productivity rates that are higher, and organizations see that 60% improvement in relationship with clients. So I'm sharing these same statistics, and guess what? It speaks to the productivity as well as the engagement. It's truly got an impact. Now, here are a few more. This one comes from Public Personnel Management. They found that training increases productivity 22.4%. When you have training plus coaching, you get an 88% productivity gain. This to me is backed up by the Xerox study, and they found that if you do training, you don't do follow-up coaching, 87% of the skills change that is brought around from the training ends up getting lost. It's telling us coaching is making a difference in employee engagement and in productivity. Now I'm going to share with you the paradox. The paradox is this: coaching skills can be used when you're mentoring, managing, training, doing counseling or therapy, consulting, and leading. On the other hand, mentoring, managing, training, counseling, and therapy, consulting, and leading are inappropriate when you're actually coaching. It's important to know these are different skills, different application. So exploring that, first off, those of you that coach are familiar with the competencies of a coach. Very specifically, the International Coaching Federation has 8 core competencies, the identified skills for a coach being effective. Many of you are familiar with them. For those who are not familiar with them, foundation demonstrates ethical practice. There is a code of ethics for coaches from the International Coaching Federation. It has some very, very important elements that you're simply not going to see in other codes of ethics. The next one is embodies a coaching mindset. This means the coach is flexible, they're curious, and they truly hold the client as their own best expert. Co-creating the relationship includes establishes and maintains agreement, both for the coaching engagement as a whole and for every session. cultivates trust and safety, ensuring that the individual knows it's safe to have an open conversation, and maintains presence, staying in the moment with that person. Communicating effectively includes listens actively, and that listens actively means listening to what's said and what's not said, listening for patterns over time, and listening to understand. With that, you have evokes awareness. This is where powerful coaching questions come in, asking questions that support people thinking and thinking differently and expanding thinking and really considering different possibilities. Then facilitates client growth is where the coach partners with the client on what they are doing. How are they using what they're learning? What are their strategies? What are their action steps? How are they managing their own accountability? And of course, acknowledging what they do accomplish along the way. How does that apply in terms of a coaching culture in an organization? Leaders are developing coaching skills. It's commonly seen as a mandatory skill for people in any leadership capacity. Let's talk about these competencies in other workplace roles. So, very specifically, that coaching mindset. When a manager or a supervisor holds somebody on the team as fully capable of doing what they do, the coaching presence, being in the moment with them instead of being distracted by a million other things. Truly listening to that individual to understand what they're saying, asking questions to support their learning and to support them figuring it out. And of course, supporting them to plan their actions and their accountability. Makes a tremendous difference in the workplace culture, which directly is going to impact employee engagement and productivity. Now, the definition for coaching itself supports exactly what we're saying with these skills, these competencies. It's partnering. In other words, the coach is not the expert. They're on the same level. It's truly a partnership, and it's a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires people to maximize their own personal and professional potential. That's huge. It increases engagement and productivity. So, very specifically, coaches partner with individual employees, groups, and teams to support their awareness, create their action plans, and manage their own accountability. A couple of important notes. It is a best practice to have internal coaches for entry to mid-level employees to manage costs, and then external coaches for higher level employees to maximize results. Fairly common. Yes, we know external coaches get better results and cost effective for organizations, definitely a consideration. In terms of training for the coaches or becoming a coach, first off, let's look at the requirements from the International Coaching Federation. To become a member, and that's pretty much a gold standard minimum in terms of being a coach, is 60 hours of coach training. To earn the ACC credential is the same 60 hours of coach training and 10 hours of mentor coaching. There are a couple of other requirements. You must have 100 hours of experience coaching, and you must get assessed coaching a client and perform at the ACC level. And there's also an exam you take. For the PCC credential, the training requirement is 125 hours, and then you also have your mentor coaching. At that level, you're required to have 500 hours of coaching experience. You're required to be assessed on 2 different coaching sessions and pass at the PCC level. And then, yes, there's the exam. For the MCC credential, 200 hours of training are required. Yes, and it has the mentor coaching. You're assessed on 2 different recordings of you coaching and must pass at the MCC level. You're required to have 2,500 hours of experience, and then the exam, of course, as well. All right. The American Management Association found that in terms of coach training, external programs are the best. They work better. Unfortunately, what's happening is a lot of organizations are doing the training internally, which means people that are not coaches and haven't completed coach training themselves are actually designing training for coaches. The external training works best. Another great statistic at Booz Allen, and a lot of people are familiar with that, they invested $414,000 in coaching, and they measured a 3.3 million impact to the bottom line, a 689% improvement or return on their investment. That's phenomenal. That's huge. A few more for you. When it comes to motivating and inspiring employees, leaders can benefit from learning coaching skills. So that comes from Portland Community College. Right Management said 86% of companies use coaching to sharpen the skills of individuals who are targeted as future leaders. The leaders' coaching skills will directly impact productivity and the ultimate success of a team or company. And that comes from Indeed. One more for you. Daniel Goleman cites coaching as one of 6 leadership styles and states that it creates resonance and boosts performance. A few more things. The state of corporate coaching came out, and a couple of things they said. First off, there is a 20% annual growth in demand for high quality corporate oriented coaches. There's a 10% annual growth in certified coaches. And the reason for that is some people that go through training don't go into the market as a coach. The demand is continuing to grow stronger. And so the demand supply gap is increasing. The growth of corporate coaching, I love this. Companies either have a coaching program or will have a coaching program. While there is not a massive jump in corporate L&D budgets, the training budget, flights, hotels, training itself, is being massively redirected to pure online coaching. It is having an impact. It's out there more and more. Gallup did a survey, okay, on employee engagement. Here's what they found. Business units that are in the top half on their employee engagement double their odds of delivering high performance. And companies in the top 10% on employee engagement bested their competition by 72% in earnings per share. In other words, when companies invest in coaching, increase employee engagement, move into that top percentage, they are bettering their competition by 72% in earnings per share. Wow. Totally makes sense for them to have coaching. All right. Effective and timely coaching can make the development and implementation of a business strategy less daunting and more successful. I hope these statistics are just super exciting for you listening and hearing these. Coaching itself serves to engage people in thinking with a focus on solutions, empower individuals to figure it out, really, instill ownership, increase follow through, and inspire and motivate. One of the ways I like to say this is that coaching is an advanced form of people development, and that generates advanced results. Organizations available to support are the Center for Coaching Certification and Coach 123. Come visit the Center for Coaching Certification at www.coachcert.com. And Coach 123 is at www.coach-123.com. Of course, lots of information available on the blog, the Coaching Perspectives book series, and during the monthly webinars. If you want to have a conversation in terms of a coaching program, having coaches available in your organization, etc., we're available if you want to do a call, an email, or if you know you want to have more of a conversation, we're happy to do that. We support coaching programs training of coaches, and then providing coaches. So what's next for you? If you want to talk about that coaching program or your own journey as a coach, let us know and we'll schedule a 30-minute conversation with you. For those of you that are on track and know where you're going, keep thinking. Think about your own action plan. Reflect on insights you gain every time you attend something like this, listen to something like this. Intentionally plan for yourself. Engage a coach. And yes, coaches have coaches too. And of course, develop your support network. I am happy to take questions when we wrap up the recorded part of this program. I do want to thank you for the time and the attention here. And do please let us know how we can be helpful. Very much interested in supporting you in terms of coach training and also coaching services. I'm going to close out the recorded part of this program and very much look forward to the live discussion. Make it a great one.